Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Myself Isin Kobendra from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. So today's subject is going to be about IKS, that is Indian Knowledge System. So the topic I'm going to do is about traditional knowledge versus Western knowledge. So let's first know what is traditional knowledge and Western knowledge. Traditional knowledge refers to the wisdom, practices and skills passed down through generations within communities, often orally or through practical applications. It is deeply rooted in cultural tradition, experiences, and interactions with the environment. Examples include indigenous medicine, folklore, and sustainable farming techniques. Western knowledge. Western knowledge is based on systematic inquiry, scientific reasoning, and empirical evidence. It follows structured education and documentation, emphasizing logic, analysis, and experimentation. Examples include modern science, technological advancements, and academic disciplines. So let's know the origins and development of both. So how traditional knowledge evolves through generations, passed down orally or through hands-on experiences, embedded in rituals, folklores, and customs, adapted based on environmental and societal changes. So the examples are farming techniques, Ayurvedic medicines, storytelling traditions. Next, the Western scientific methodology, developed through formal education and documentation based on observation, experimentation, and peer review. Constantly revised with new discoveries and research. Examples are the scientific revolution, medical advancements, and technological innovations. So the aspects are transmission, approach, evolution, verification. So how the traditional knowledge, this is the origins and development part, right? Part the traditional knowledge, Western knowledge. In the transmission, the traditional knowledge is done orally and experiential. The Western knowledge is written and formal. The approach for traditional knowledge is holistic and intuitive. For Western knowledge is analytical and empirical. The evolution of traditional knowledge is slowly over time, as it is only in scripts and Vedic corpuses. The Western knowledge is rapid, driven by innovation. As the technology grows, the Western knowledge grows. Next, verification of traditional knowledge is communities and consensus. The Western is verification of traditional knowledge is community consensus. The Western knowledge is scientific validation. Next, the characteristics of traditional knowledge. Rooted in culture, beliefs, and experiences, developed through generations, closely tied to customs and traditions, influenced by the environment, spirituality, and ancestral wisdom. Examples are indigenous healing methods based on local herbs, spiritual practices, oral transmission, and practical application. Shared through storytelling, observation, and practice rather than formal education. Knowledge is preserved in rituals, folklores, and community interactions. Examples are farming techniques passed down to practice. Examples of traditional knowledge are indigenous medicines, that is Ayurvedic healing, Chinese herbal medicines, Native American remedies, and next is folk wisdom, proverbs, sayings, and life lessons rooted in ancestral experiences. Sustainable practices, permaculture, eco-friendly building, and water conservation techniques. Characteristics of Western knowledge. Based on empirical evidence, experimentation, knowledge is derived through observation, testing, logical reasoning. The scientific method ensures accuracy, repeatability, and peer validation. Examples are medical research on vaccines and treatments, laboratory experiments. Written documentation and structured education, recorded in books, journals, and research papers for accessibility and reference. Formal education systems, including schools and universities, ensure systematic learning. Examples: academic textbooks, peer-reviewed research papers, online courses. Examples of Western knowledge are modern science, that is physics, chemistry, medicine, and engineering innovations, technology, artificial intelligence, space exploration, digital advancements. Formal research, Anthropological studies, physiological theories, economic models. Strengths of traditional knowledge: deep connection with nature and sustainability. Traditional knowledge is often rooted in environmental awareness and ecological balance. Indigenous practices emphasize sustainability, resource conservation, and harmonious coexistence with nature. Examples are agroforestry, water conservation techniques, and herbal medicine derived from local flora. Community centered and holistic approaches focus on collective well being rather than individual gains. Knowledge is integrated with social, spiritual, and cultural aspects, providing a more holistic perspective. Example is traditional healing methods that address physical, mental, and spiritual health together. Resilience through centuries has endured the test of time, adapting to changes without losing its core value. Proven effectiveness despite modern technological advancements. Examples are indigenous agricultural practices that have sustained communities for generations. Strengths of Western knowledge: advancements in technology and innovation. Western knowledge drives scientific breakthroughs, technological evolution, and industrial progress. Continuous research and experimentation lead to new discoveries and improve human life. Examples are space exploration, medical imaging, AI-driven automation. Precision, objectivity, and widespread accessibility. Based on empirical data, structured analysis, and repeatable results to ensure accuracy, formal education systems provide accessibility to a vast array of disciplines. Examples are engineering principles used for constructing safer bridges and buildings, potential for rapid problem solving. Scientific methods allow for quicker solutions to complex challenges. Applied research leads to medical advancements, environmental solutions, and technological fixes. Development of vaccines and treatments for disease in record time. Challenges and criticism. Challenges faced by traditional knowledge are lack of formal recognition, often dismissed by mainstream scientific communities. Risk of extinction. Many indigenous practices are disappearing due to globalization and modernization. Limited documentation, mostly oral transmission, makes it vulnerable to loss. Restricted application. Some aspect may lack empirical validation, limiting wider acceptance. Challenges faced by Western knowledge. Over dependence on scientific validation. Some valuable knowledge is ignored if it doesn't meet rigid scientific standards. Ethical concerns. Advancements in areas like biotech and AI raise more moral dilemmas. Environmental impact. Rapid industrialization and technological progress sometimes come at the cost of ecological harm. Cultural insensitivity. Western approach may overlook the importance of traditional wisdom, leading to clashes in perspectives. Finding a balance between both. How both knowledge systems complement each other. Traditional wisdom provides sustainability, cultural heritage, and holistic understanding. Western knowledge offers scientific validation, technological advancement, and precision. Indigenous farming techniques combined with modern agricultural science to improve crop yields sustainably. Integration of indigenous wisdom in scientific research. Recognition of traditional medicine in modern healthcare, that is Ayurveda and herbal treatments being studied in pharmacology. Ecological conservation strategies using indigenous approaches alongside scientific data. Examples are wildlife conservation efforts that incorporate native knowledge of animal behavior and habitats. Case study of successful collaborations. Climate action, indigenous climate adaptation method integrated into global policies. Healthcare, traditional medicine contributing to new pharmaceutical discoveries. Education, schools incorporating indigenous teachings into modern curriculums. So we are at the end of a presentation. That is a conclusion. Summary. That are the key points which we have studied right now is traditional knowledge is deeply rooted in culture, holistic in nature, and sustainable. Western knowledge thrives on scientific validation, structured learning, and technological innovation. Both have their strengths and challenges, but integrating them can create a more balanced approach to knowledge and problem solving. The need for mutual respect and coexistence. Recognizing the value of traditional wisdom alongside scientific progress. Collaborative efforts can bridge the gap between experience based learning and empirical research. Examples are policies that incorporate indigenous environmental techniques in global sustainability efforts. So, thank you everyone. Let's meet in the next video.